Comment dire? Mike Pondsmith est le concepteur du jeu de rôle Cyberpunk paru chez Talsorian Games, une boîte d'édition qu'il dirige avec sa famille. Il a produit notamment le jeu Cyberpunk 2013 en 1988, puis la deuxième édition Cyberpunk 2020 en 1990. J'ai commencé à être MJ sur cette version. Toute mon adolescence, j'ai lu ces textes qui décrivaient un futur sombre où les citoyens de Night City portaient du fluo au col, aux manches et ils dansaient comme ça. On découvrait des disques durs dont les capacités des superordinateurs montaient jusqu'à 256 mégas. Et il décrivait une Europe avec une monnaie unique appelée l'euro-dollar. Puis nous avons eu Cyberpunk 203X, dont les événements évoquaient les années 2030 avec un accent artiance. On parle de nanorobots qui reconstruisent les bâtiments en quelques heures, d'un virus qui a dévoré le papier des livres et d'une Night City immense construite sur 3 niveaux faisant 800 km par 300. J'ai d'ailleurs eu l'occasion de travailler sur Cyberpunk sous le regard bienveillant de Mike pour une grande campagne de jeu Dead Like Me. Elle reprenait certains de ses personnages emblématiques, c'était vraiment une expérience formidable. Aujourd'hui, grâce à CD Projekt Red, on redécouvre l'univers Cyberpunk à travers ses rues, sa violence, mais surtout ses espoirs. Pour l'anecdote, quand j'ai découvert pour la première fois le trailer de Cyberpunk 2077, j'ai été soufflé par l'un des clins d'œil des développeurs. Au début du trailer, une boutique montre rapidement une jeune femme avec une pose lascive. Eh bien, il s'agit d'une illustration d'ouverture du jeu de rôle Cyberpunk 2020. C'est dire à quel point CD Projekt aime cet univers, ils ont comme moi grandi avec. Talsorian Games publie désormais une nouvelle édition de son jeu de rôle appelé Cyberpunk Red. Ça se passe dans les années 2040-2050 et on raconte comment Night City a sombré dans l'ère du rouge. Le pitch est le suivant. Une bombe à la puissance quasi nucléaire explose au sommet de la tour Arasaka, appartenant à l'une des plus puissantes corpos au monde. La déflagration ravage une partie de la ville et des particules rouge sang s'échappent alors dans l'atmosphère. Au cours de cette nuit apocalyptique, des milliers d'habitants disparaissent, dont le célèbre rocker boy Johnny Silverhand. Night City se place ainsi sous la protection fédérale, la rue libère sa fureur et les punks protègent plus que jamais leur liberté. Mais dans l'ombre, les mégacorpos préparent leur retour en force. Cyberpunk Red est publié en France par les éditions de l'Arcane Asylum. Voilà, je donne maintenant la parole à Mike Pondsmith.
Well, actually, my first start was my favorite movie is Blade Runner, so I have that to blame myself for. Part of it is that my experience, because I study and look at history a lot, is that people get technology and ideas, but they don't always use them the smartest way. And sometimes when it isn't working, they still keep doing it dumb. So as a result, you have all these promises of technology, but you don't have it applied really well. The trade-off for that is that when technology can reach the street level, people find ways of using it that are actually smarter a lot of times than big corporations or organizations, because they are using it for what they need it for, and they have to live with the consequences. Oh, actually, it's funny. My son calls me boss occasionally, and it's particularly funny because he and my wife are working together on a project right now for The Witcher RPG, where he is her boss, and so he calls her Lisa until we leave the work environment, and then she can become mom again. We've done this for 30-odd years, and my wife actually says that it was good for our marriage because you don't have to explain what you're doing or why you're up really, really late working on something, because the person next to you is helping you get it together. I'm here at a convention, and I don't have a wife at home going, well, you should be taking the kids out, or you're dealing with the dog. And I got a wife who's right now going, oh my God, we have to keep the booth running. And do we have enough stuff for sales right now? She understands it. My son surprised me. He, at graduation of high school, came to me, and he had another job set up and everything. He was working special effects and prop making, and he came to me and said, I want to restart the company because I want to be a game designer. And I went, what? I didn't talk you out of that? And as a result, he actually has got a lot of mad game design skills. He's been, studying it long enough, I guess. So he's actually a pretty good designer. I think, weirdly enough, and this is going to sound very strange, Cyberpunk is at core a very romantic kind of vision. You had mentioned film noir, for example, earlier on, and film noir has that same, kind of gritty realism, can't trust people, but it has that element of like, the beautiful woman who comes into your, seedy detective place and needs to have you figure out a case to save her. And you get to be a hero who isn't super heroic. I think that Cyberpunk has a dark future, but it has a personal dark future stake. You can decide, yeah, I'm going to be a hero, but I'm not going to be one with, the big jaw and the, a lot of muscles. I'm going to be the guy who gets things done. And there's also something really romantic about standing out, looking over a city in the middle of the night with wet neon and, in this case, smoking my vape pipe or something, It was a city. But it was my city, kind of thing. Yeah. No, actually, I'm enjoying it. Okay, so yeah, I could say we fight like cats and dogs, the CD Projekt, but actually, we really get along pretty well. They're a great bunch of guys. They're a bunch of very smart guys as well, and they're fans. So it's hard to disappoint your fans when they are your fans writing the game. In addition, I've been very fortunate in that since I work in video games as well, to have them involve me not just in a sign off on it, but literally we have a lot of dialogues on how gameplay works, what goals do we have. It's like in my head I have the entire bloody story of what's going to go in a game. I can't tell you any of it, but but it's great because I was involved in working with the story team on it. So I look at it and go, yeah, what do we tweak there? What do we do that? I think the fans are going to be very, very happy with this. No, not really. Believe me, the only time I've ever been afraid of facing a fan was the young woman who came up to me. She had a mohawk and kind of a crazed look on her eye, and she said, I fired every gun you've had in the books. I'm thinking, yeah, okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you're into it. And I don't know where you found a Malorian, but I hope you enjoyed it. Other than that, I like the fans we meet. The fans are pretty damn cool. It kind of hands off, and there's two reasons for that. The first one is I don't do fantasy all that much. I'm a science fiction kind of guy. And it's interesting because he and the other people on the team, particularly, weirdly enough, his mother, are Witcher fanatics. They're going to Witcher camp this year to run around in the cold and the wet, live actioning Witcher. We're talking two people who love to get out with long swords and in a backyard and wail on each other, along with his adopted sister and other people. So they live hardcore fantasy. And I will never be as deep into it as they are. On the other hand, when I say, hey, let's go out and shoot, they kind of go, yeah, okay, whatever, bow and arrow. So basically, one, they will know it and have a better feeling for it. When a new Witcher book comes out, they've bought it already. They're in line. Before the Witcher books, many of them were translated, they've been taking Polish classes. So, I come in and they're all talking at each other in Polish. I'm going, I can't even understand Polish. The CDPR guys laugh. You kind of, yeah, we're going to speak English to you, Mike. You'll never get this. So that's the first thing. they know it and they love it. So I step back from there. Second, I have enough projects going on between what I'm doing, going back and forth and meeting with CPR guys, running our Mecton project line, and running some new Cyberpunk stuff we're doing, plus a couple other unnamed projects. So I'm kind of happy to actually hand it over to people who I trust, and they've nailed it. They love this stuff so much that they'd be the most disappointed people if it didn't work out well. Actually, it's funny. I used to teach video game design. And my students would ask me that, and I'd say the first thing you need to understand is it's not what you think it is. You do not sit and play video games all day or play games. I wish I could do that. There are a couple things. The first one is you have to really want to do this. And that includes the really hard, miserable, I'm staring at this manuscript and I've been staring at it for 24 days. And I kind of think I hate it, but I'm going to get it to work. So you want to do it. The second thing you have to understand is that you don't do this in a vacuum. You have to be well-read. You have to basically be willing to research, find things out. You're going to end up with a huge library, not just of games, because I have a game library that literally is in 4 rooms, and most of those rooms it's stacked damn near the ceiling. But also we have a huge library as well. And that's because you will find sources everywhere. Get to know your local library. You'd be amazed at the weird things I have in my phone right now. For example, I have an entire series of weapons of World War I accessible right now on my phone because occasionally I need to pull things like that for Castle Falkenstein. So be widely read and gather information. You can't afford not to. You're going to use it everywhere. And the third thing is, when you do this, particularly if you get good at it, expect people are not going to have any idea what you really do. I swear to God, it's gotten better, because it used to be I'd go to a party and somebody go, what are you doing? I go, I design games. And they go, yeah, but what do you really do? I had been in the business. I'd had a business for 15 years, and my mother still did not believe that's what I did for a living. And then one day she went into a store and said, I saw your stuff. And I'm going, what do you think I was doing? You thought I was smuggling drugs, didn't you? No. And then, the years passed, and now next to rock star video game designers, like the college or the choice of career for college, beginning high school seniors. And they still have no idea what I do. So, I go into the store somewhere and they say, oh, what do you do? And I go, well, I design games and video games. And they go, ooh, wow, do you have lots of fans? And does this happen? And then I'm going, believe me, what I do is a lot more. I sit in front of a computer a lot, And when I'm working on a game, it's, this is good. This is, oh, man, I got to log that bug. Oh, ow, wait. How come his arms are reaching through the wall? Bug log, So it is going to be different, and people will not entirely understand what you do. But if you really want to do it, then you should go do it and put everything you've got into it. Oh, man.
The one you were reading it and said, damn, I wish I had this idea myself.
I haven't had enough time to really look at a lot of them right now. So I really couldn't really give you one off the top of my head. The last one I was looking at was, I think it was Prometheus. No, it was one of the underwater-based games that came out of, I think, France originally.
Polaris.
Yeah. Yeah, and I got about 3/4 of the way through and was trying to get a campaign of people together, and then I had to go to Poland. So I have not recently had a lot of chance to look at what's happening tabletop. I'm hoping when I get back that we'll have a pile of games and we're all going to sit on the floor and yank them out and start reading. I know that my son just picked up the new Pathfinder Starfinder, and we were all sitting around last night at like 2 a.m. arguing about well, they changed that mechanic, but yeah, that worked better because of this. Yeah, okay. So I can't pick one right now. There's just a lot of good stuff out there. it's a golden age of just people producing cool stuff.
And in your career, have you ever, play or
Oh,
run
yeah.
a game that you would have say, this
Yeah.
one would have signed it with my company?
Yeah, there's tons of them. There's stuff in the White Wolf area that they did that I went, yeah, that was really well done, because I think they changed the nature of how people play RPGs. We like to think of ourselves, us in White Wolf as kind of being that next generation where we said, let's get feel down before we even get the rules down. My favorite, what started me off was Traveler, which is, I think, academically just a solid game even now. Years later I look at it and go, wow, that really holds together. Beyond that, I think that the Pathfinder stuff is well done in that it went back to the roots of how to just get feel again. And I actually like the new D&D. I've actually been in a campaign now in it, and I like the fact that it's getting back once again to its roots, instead of trying to essentially emulate what was going on in video games. One, I need to have CyberArm because I can put a lot of good stuff into a CyberArm. So, at that point, I need cameras. I need at least a good backup pistol. I want cyber optics, and I want communication capabilities. Beyond that, I can get other stuff I need. I don't need to run 100 miles an hour, but I need to be able to keep myself alive on the street.
Cool.
So probably, yeah, I would be Morgan Blackhand, with, big black CyberArm doing a thing. And I'd get a lot of interesting finger digits and stuff like that.
Cool.
Merci Mike, merci beaucoup. L'entretien a été réalisé en présence du soutien psychologique et cybernétique de Mathieu, le gars qui était à ma gauche, et de Jérémy, l'autre qui était derrière la caméra. J'espère que vous avez apprécié les mots de Mike Pondsmith. Alors bien sûr, n'hésitez pas à vous abonner, à activer la notification, à commenter et à diriger un pouce vers le ciel de Night City. Prenez soin de vous.